have three contestants that are joining us with video presentation and opening the cybersecurity panel. Starting with the first, please welcome Birosign, founded in 2018 and coming from Hungary. Please welcome on the virtual presentation, Dr. Balázs Nagy, presenting Birosign. Can we all hear you, Dr. Balázs?
Yes, hello.
Hello. All right, 3 minutes. The stage is yours.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Balázs Nagy, the co-founder and CEO of Birosign. I want to start with a question. Do you remember when you were trying to create your first handwritten signature? By the way, how much has your signature changed over the years? A signature is more than just a scribble. Your signature is you. We sign contracts, transactions, medical documents, business letters, online exams to verify your identity. Nevertheless, hundreds of millions of signatures on these digital documents are checked manually or not at all. Forged signatures and decent verification cost billions of dollars for businesses every year. Birosign provides a signature verification service for businesses that require higher security. Our technology analyzes a digital copy of the dynamic signature. This handwritten gesture is unique to the signer, cannot be stolen, forged, or forgotten. The visual difference between a legit and a forged signature can be immaterial to the eye. Birosign signature verification service is based on a self-developed algorithm that analyzes not only the visual imprint, but also the dynamic character traits of the signatures, such as velocity, pressure, and others. Meanwhile, traditional digital document applications, such as DocuSign, focus on convenient document management. Birosign adds an additional layer of security by actually validating the legitimacy of the signatures. Compared to similar signature matching solutions, Birosign works with iPad and an Apple Pencil or Adonis stylus. The technology is optimized for various signature styles and can adapt to the signature changing over time. Birosign's core team has an excellent academic background, a couple of PhDs in different fields, and the founders have a long-standing history working together on various R&D projects. Currently, Birosign's pilot service is being tested by our partners. Recently, we have integrated a Birosign signature verification service into Adonis Authenticate, a B2B application developed in cooperation with Adonis. As a Microsoft for Startups company, we plan to integrate our technology into Microsoft Teams and Outlook. The global market for digital signatures is projected to reach $8 billion by 2027. This year, we start to license our service for our partners, and next year, we are launching our own subscription-based iPad app. Our goal is to make Birosign a household name in digital signature verifications.
Thank you for the great presentation, Dr. Balázs. And questions now, 5 minutes. Who wants to start first? Maybe the live jury right here. First question? Or perhaps we need to move forward with the... Okay, we have one.
Hi, great presentation. Thanks for that. So I'm sure the market is growing, and so the solution is it's not my fault. Do you use blockchain or cryptography technology in your solution? That's the first question. And the second question, what are the legal constraints, boundaries for growing your product internationally? Thanks.
Thank you for these questions. Currently, we are focusing on the authentication part, so the signature verification, and we are planning to integrate this technology into bigger systems and other businesses. who may use blockchain and, of course, electric signature. So it's just a puzzle in this whole chain of digital document management. And regarding the legal question, of course, in Europe and in the US, there are laws how to use these technologies, and we are compatible with these regulations. I hope I answered your question.
Do we have another question here from the live jury? All right, anybody online who wants to tune in for a question?
Yeah, I would have one question, probably a general one, but can you explain why does it make sense to work with a signature compared to, fingerprints, retina scans, EKG, or whatever technology there is to authenticate the user being the user?
Yes, these biometric authentication technologies are also very, very good and efficient, but they are not that secure as a dynamic signature. So if you have to sign an important document, contracts, or a transaction, you want to use the most secure authentication technology. And fingerprint, Face ID can be misused, or it's not that secure as you can reach with your own signature, dynamic signature.
Okay, thank you.
All right, perhaps the last question. We have 2 minutes left, so that's plenty of time. If you're still curious to learn more about Birosign. Okay, well, thank you for the great presentation, Dr. Baza.
Thank you very much.
Now, moving forward, Birosign was the first contents of the cybersecurity panel, and now we're moving with Proofmarked and have the pleasure to introduce you from the United Kingdom, the founder, Marco Suarez, presenting Proofmarked.
Hello, I think you have my presentation on.
Yes, can you speak
You've
a little
probably
bit?
heard it before. People are the weakest link in cybersecurity. But quite honestly, how are people supposed to be able to distinguish between this website and this website? Not being able to tell right from wrong uncovers underlying uncertainty, as we come to experience a highly scalable market for lemons. And why is this? The matter of the fact is that the tools that constitute our web framework facilitate the ease of impersonation, so it should come as no surprise if a person can't tell if they are where they think they are, while existing controlling mechanisms are unable to address 84% of this current problem. The problem with existing solutions can be better visualized through a solar striker analogy, where we are trying to destroy the enemies. The problem is that they are often only providing us with a false sense of security, as security protocols can be equally used and abused by cybercriminals, making this a more realistic visualization of the entire attack surface. The reality is that existing solutions are ill-equipped to keep up with the agnostic nature of the web, that is ever expanding and ever changing. Furthermore, industry partners and police forces rather keep a bad website active for longer than mistakenly putting a good website out of business. Proofmarked brings the exclusiveness of a brand to consumers and provides their rightful owner the ability to claim and demonstrate that legitimacy, thus creating a federated trust chained to each brand that can't be impersonated as part of a well-controlled ecosystem with due diligence and compliance. Our solution brings about a paradigm shift that goes beyond domains and padlocks to make it seamlessly obvious if that URL is being authorized by the company the user intended to interact with or not, as our SaaS platform provides a market-driven and self-enforcing way to bootstrap trust and legitimacy to the web. Our embedded phishing report system allows us to ingest and reconcile block lists and allow lists at scale through a self-reconciling system. Furthermore, we are able to cooperate with law enforcement, DNS registry, and DNS resolvers, which will not only reduce the amount of false positives and false negatives, but will also speed the time to action, making it so much easier for end users to trust what they see and report ill-intended websites at a granular and aggregate level, as we bring the power of many onto our platform, as well as massive network effects. So if you remember our initial full picture, we will be going from this to the brave new world, where organizations, law enforcement, industry partners, and end users come together in a combined approach that is self-serving and self-enforcing on everyone's best self-interest. Our primary market is the fraud detection and prevention, which is set to grow for a steady pace for the coming years. And as our market penetration grows, there's a vastness of other services that we are inherently able to provide. This is our founding team with a mix of business and tech skills, from user behavior to cybersecurity. We have received 2 industry awards from the Police Digital Security Center and from Mozilla. We have done an initial proof of concept with Global Cyber Alliance through our participation in the REACH Incubator. We're also part of Cyber Runway, where we're in current conversations with Deloitte to become a partner. Thank you. Happy to answer your questions.
Thank you for the very illustrative presentation, Marco. And just to recap, Proofmarked has already raised an investment, and they won the investment award of $6 million. So congrats for that. And
I think you have the information wrong.
yeah, you have 5 minutes for questions. Opening the panel here for the live jury. Who wants to start first? Do we have a question? Or maybe we should take first from the online jury until you're thinking.
Okay, so if I may ask a question, then how is this different from the other existing solutions, such as first, certificates, second, domain takedowns by operators? I mean, we've seen a number of other solutions, browser extensions and similar, that were based on users reporting information about possibly fraudulent websites, and none of them actually, in the end, worked. So how is this different? I mean, I'm having trouble differentiating this from all the other existing solutions that are there.
That is a very good question. So the problem with the web is that it is agnostic and that it is neutral. So if I'm a cyber criminal and I'm trying to get a padlock on a legitimate website or illegitimate website, it doesn't matter. If I go to Birosign and it doesn't give it to me, I'll go to Let's Encrypt, and Let's Encrypt doesn't do the validation or whatever, and therefore I have the padlock. With the domains, I go to Nominet. Nominet says, okay, your domain is going to be used for phishing. I'm not going to give it to you. You go to Namecheap, and they sell it to you. So that's always the issue in a multiplayer game, where people with different compliances will use and abuse, and often even certificate authorities have been known to be cooperative with criminal gangs in a way. So between that is the case with the domains and the certificate authorities. With other approaches that they're trying to do what we're doing, we have a market-driven approach in the sense that we are not trying ourselves to say what is right or what is wrong. We're also not trying to get millions of data points to say whether something is legitimate or illegitimate according to our own perception or to our own algorithms or our own black boxes. What we're allowing is for organizations themselves to prove to their customers they are who they say they are. So we often think of it just as only a QYC, well, you need to know your customer. But then when it's so easy to pitch credentials and whatever it is, two-factor authentication, then we're only providing people with a false sense of security. And that is the biggest issue with the existing technologies, is that they often have a loophole that will be used and abused. And in our model, we have a hyper-personalized model of trust. So we're not saying trust this website. You trust it if you trust the brand that you are a consumer of, instead of having another agnostic symbol, be it from other competitors that could be in the landscape or not. Is there enough, or is there something else that you'd like me to build on?
Well, actually, I'm still not getting it, how this is different from existing models where you're trusting somebody saying that he or they say.
So here, what we're doing is that we verify the trademark ownership rights, and then we just apply for. We're not
somebody
saying this is the website.
Yep, but the biggest issue in terms of fraudulent websites is actually typo splitting and similar. So
Yes.
if somebody registers a website and has a trademark, that's an issue. And then how do you enforce that the companies actually or the users get the information, legitimate information about that website? I mean, I still don't see this universal and resolving the issue of real security, trusted security, if you wish.
So yes, the thing is here is really the hyper-personalized model of trust. So it's not us that are saying trust us, it's the bank saying trust us because we're the bank. So that's the basic part of it. So how do we differentiate from everything else is that also we're not doing just block lists where we're chasing after ghosts. We're actually doing preventive allow listing. So if you trust the brand, okay, you got it. So you still don't get it how it's different.
That part I get. That part I get. I just doubt that.
You're trying to tell people. Say again.
Yeah, I get the part. I understand how you do it, how you do what you do. I'm just not sure if this is sufficient to resolve the issue that is the core of the problem itself. But
I think ultimately it gets to, and let me try to just share my screen again, just for the sake of it, because it's really a matter of visualization. And share. So I hope it goes. So this is the paradigm shift of the broken model that we currently have and that we cannot even explain to people. And this is something that you also understand, I know, Carol, I'm sorry. But then this is the part where we're not making technology anymore for just cybersecurity experts. We're making technology that people understand. So if you have a phishing website, as I gave in the initial example, and then you just have the trademark on top in a closed ecosystem, that's how people will be able to tell the difference between a legitimate website and a illegitimate website. So it's preventive, and it also ultimately undermines the chances of cybercriminals making their end game, because then people can easily assess if it is a legitimate or the illegitimate website.
Thank you, Marco.
Yeah.
Yeah, time is up. And congrats for the great presentation, everyone. That was Proofmarked. All right, so we have one more contestant and, of course, a virtual presentation to close the cybersecurity panel. And it's going to be my honor to present to you Secfense. Founded in 2018, coming from Poland, and he's going to join online from Poland. We're going to have Marcin Zary presenting Secfense. So the stage is yours. Are you live?
Passwords are the root of all evil in cybersecurity, and while most of the consumer applications have already implemented multi-factor authentication to protect their users, the situation is more complex in the enterprise kingdom. Hello, my name is Marcin, I'm the CTO and co-founder of Secfense. So, large organizations usually own hundreds of applications or devices that were designed to be password protected only, and that introduces a huge risk. So, why multi-factor has not been deployed then? The reason is the complex and heterogeneous nature of such environments, preventing those organizations from full-scale multi-factor deployment. And this is where we step in with Secfense. We introduce the intermediary layer that is spanned across the entire organization's infrastructure and protect the users on the fly. So instead of changing the applications like one by one, the security departments can enable security features, including multi-factor authentication, directly on that layer. So that makes a great foundation for zero trust security architecture. And such approach saves a lot of manpower, money. It doesn't change application integrity, and can be done in no time. Since we've become production ready, we've made 20 POCs. 5 of them have converted into paying customers, including one of the largest banks in Europe. We've recently raised $2 million from 3 venture funds to expand our operations in the UK and the US market. So how big is the cake? By 25, it should hit 21 billion. But it's not only internal awareness that fuels that market, or external regulations like GDPR or PSD2, but recently Joe Biden's executive order on cybersecurity, as well as the post-COVID remote from home strategy. So we are an experienced team, experienced founders with a great team and great VCs backing us, and we want to be a part of the zero trust revolution by introducing frictionless, secure, and eventually passwordless authentication at the global scale. You want to find out more? Let's talk.
Thank you. That was a fast presentation. Thank you, Marcin. So we have questions now. Opening for the live jury here. Who wants to start first? Five minutes.
Hi, Marcin. Mateusz Bodiu from RKKVC. So actually, I have a couple of questions. And the first one regarding BNP Paribas. So why did they choose you? And do you have any further plans to grow together?
BNP Paribas is a kind of representation of the group. I've mentioned in the pitch that they are a large organization with infrastructure that's been building up over the years, and so they struggled with deploying strong authentication, like many different methods to their very heterogeneous environment. So they wanted to do it quite rapidly. They couldn't allocate a lot of team to that project, but it was mandatory. So instead of going traditional way, so instead of taking like a vendor and deploying it one by one to hundreds of applications, they've decided to reach out to us and see how we can approach that problem. And so once they saw how we address that, they've decided to go like full scale deployment on that. And so the end goal for that project is to protect up to 120 applications and 500,000 credentials in the entire company. And so even though this was a Polish division of the company, we were already introduced to the headquarters in Paris. So I hope this will scale inside the organization as well.
So how many users are actually using your solution?
It's still in progress. So once we are behind the door, we can easily scale. So even if we start with a single user, the users are upcoming. I have no idea how many users are right now, but I know the end goal is to have 9,000 employees in total being protected by the system. That would end up in having like 500,000 credentials in total in all applications within the company to be protected. That's the end goal, and it's taking place right now. The transition to this final step.
Right. So as for investors, I imagine that's a great quality of your solution that BNP choose you, and it seems like you are addressing large customers. What about SMEs?
SMEs, so why we address large customers is because they suffer from the problem that might not exist naturally in a smaller environments. And I mean, the heterogeneous nature, especially banks or like other financial institutions, they usually acquire other companies. So their environment looks like the Tetris blocks I presented. And this is where the problem actually appears. If you're a small company, you have choice. You still can choose. So usually you use more SaaS products, but even for those companies, we also have an offering that, but not that natural as for large institutions. To be honest.
Right. Thank you, and good luck with US and UK expansion.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you for the question. And we have still a minute and 20 seconds. Maybe somebody online will decide to join in. Are there any more questions for seconds?
If I may, then companies like Secret Double Octopus and similar are currently trying to do the same. Do you see a difference there?
If you're referring to Okta,
No. Secret Double Octopus. Secret Double Octopus. As an example, one of many in that space.
Secret Double Octopus.
Yes. Israeli company deployed in a number of enterprises already, apparently doing something similar.
Probably. If I didn't say we are on the virgin space. The problem that we saw was already present in many customers that we've witnessed, but it hasn't been solved by the incumbents. And So yeah, I'm not saying we have very specific. So it's not only about multi-factor authentication. Once we are inside a company, we can like enable other security enhancements being the broker. So probably this is where the offerings may vary from vendor to vendor.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for the answer.
All right, thank you, Marcin. And that
Thank
was
you.
Secfense, everyone. So give it up for Secfense. All right, and that was the last contestant from the cybersecurity panel.